going on, everyone? It's your boy Ben and JB from JBM Sports Media, and here today we have the winners and losers edition trade deadline. We have to talk about this NBA trade deadline because it's officially over. Teams are standing pat. I mean, there's going to be some action in the buyout market a little bit later, but we'll wait and see how that goes. No matter what, this trade deadline was an eventful one right here. And yes, like I said, we have the winners and losers NBA trade deadline edition. I'm actually pretty excited to do this, and JB and me have both picked a couple of winners and losers, and we want to get your guys' opinions. So obviously, engage with us in the comments section. That is very important. Starting off with a winner that we didn't think was going to be a winner, but in general, I say they did really good. And I'm talking about the Washington Wizards right here. And JV actually came up with this one in a phone call we had earlier. JV, what you think about the Wizards and what makes them a winner this trade deadline?
Honestly, for the fact that they didn't give up much and they were able to get two perennial All-Stars in Trae Young, about as recently as a month ago, and obviously, 2 days ago with AD. The key there is just health. Can Trae Young stay on the court and be healthy and contribute and be a facilitator and maybe become more of a scorer now that he's going to be a primary option? And can AD stay on the court as well? Can he stay on the floor and be that defensive prowess and that offensive prowess that he is? I mean, the guy's a walking double-double. We all know that when he's healthy, he's up there with the best of them. He could score 26 and 13 every night, if his body allows him to. And I really think that if they do stay healthy, this young core that they have over there, keeping them intact and adding these two veterans, I don't think they'll be a laughingstock in the East anymore. Maybe it'll take them a couple of years, but I do think this trade actually helped their roster more than hurt it. And I think it set them up, pretty well, in the future. And honestly, let's just see how this plays out. To me, the only biggest thing here is health. So if they could stay healthy, this could be a formidable squad.
Yes, very much so. Health is wealth for this team. I think, if they're both healthy, Trae Young specifically and AD, I mean, I could see this team being competing for a play-in spot in the Eastern Conference, with some teams going down in the rankings. You can see the Wizards go up, and it's about time they make moves like this. They can't continue to be piss poor all their tenure because, like I said, they haven't had a winning season since 2017, and that's been quite some time.
Right.
We're talking about the John Wall era. So now that they acquire two All-Stars in Trae Young and Anthony Davis alongside, young core with Bilal, with Trey Johnson, Alex Sarr, I think it's going to be pretty good. I mean, for AD now being pure power forward and Alex Sarr being the center there, it's going to be pretty interesting to see how that plays out, especially if he does stay healthy, and hopefully he does, fingers crossed. But yeah, shout out to the Washington Wizards staying active and actually, like you said, not giving up much, especially for the AD return. I think those two picks weren't even theirs, so that's a big-time W for them. And in the Trae Young, I mean, they gave up, I believe it was CJ McCollum and, Corey Kispert? I think that was it, right?
Yeah, so, Corey Kispert, McCollum,
Yeah, that's very much so a bargain right there. So, look, shout out to the Wizards. Are they going to lock these guys up to long-term contracts? I guess we'll only see how it plays out, right? We'll see how it plays out. But, I mean, it's a W. I think for what they had to give up, not much. Yeah, I take that as a W for the Wizards. Let's keep on going. Now to a loser. We do have none other than Ja Morant, loser at this trade deadline. As JV mentioned yesterday, him not being interested in playing for the Sacramento Kings. Well, guess what, buddy? You're stuck in Memphis. You didn't go nowhere. You didn't go to Miami. You didn't go to Milwaukee. You didn't go to Minnesota. There was rumblings about that as well. Staying in Memphis. And I say he's a loser because Memphis is going a completely different direction. In the next 7 years, they have 13. 7 years, they have 13 first-round picks. And Ja Morant not really fitting into that rebuild, in my opinion. And they really did want to ship this guy. I did see a potential trade package that was Khalil Ware, either Khalil Ware or Jaime Jaquez, Terry Rozier, and a first-round pick, which to me, it's a little bit too much for Ja Morant at this point. If you look at what the Trae Young package is, I mean, in my opinion, Ja Morant right now, he's 2 bad seasons away from, I mean, we're talking about, I don't know, barely
potentially being a bench player. Yeah, maybe being a bench player.
Yeah, I mean,
honestly,
it's not.
And his off-the-court antics have been obviously highly documented, and the fact that he was the one that blocked the trade to Sacramento is a joke. I wouldn't have given him an option. I wouldn't have sat down with him and maybe do what the Bucks were doing with Giannis. Maybe they were in constant talks with Giannis, seeing what he where his head was at. The organization letting him know, hey, we're going to do this. We want you to stick around. We're probably not going to trade you. Ja Morant doesn't deserve that. He doesn't deserve that type of communication. If the GM would have said, hey, we have a good deal here from Sacramento, bye-bye, pack your shit, you're out. There should have been no, oh, he doesn't want to go to Sacramento. He wants to go to Miami or Minnesota. No, you don't get that type of treatment.
No, he
You
doesn't.
don't get to have those types of decisions. You're not the one that's making decisions, especially that you shot this organization in the foot so many times, taking you back with your off the court antics. Listen, and I'm not saying everybody is an angel and they have to be,
No, not a person.
listen, I get it, but these things that you were doing were pretty serious. Okay, so we can't take that into light. It's a negative outlook on himself, children that look up to him, and the organization. And now you're trying to dictate where you want to go play. No, that's not how it works, brother.
That's not how it works.
You got to prove that you want to be in the league, that you're going to work hard, and that you're going to go contribute to these top quality teams that you want to go play with. You think you're just going to walk in and it's just going to be everyone's going to cater to you? No, that's not how it works, man. And I thought that was a really piss poor move by Ja Morant.
Look, I think there was also not a lot of interest from a lot of different teams, more so given exactly what the Grizzlies wanted. I think the Grizzlies kind of set the bar a little bit too high. And I kind of blame them a little bit as well. If you're going full on rebuild mode, you might as well try to get anything you can out of this guy, which is acquiring deals. So, if you want to do 1A Ja Morant, 1B Memphis Grizzlies for losers, that's perfectly fine. I think they could have, I wouldn't even call them losers because they get 3 first-round picks from the Jazz, but look, they should have got Ja out of there because he's not fitting right now their current scheme of what they're trying to do and what they're trying to build there.
So, I think the Kings had a good deal. I guess I think Memphis actually liked the deal that Sacramento had offered, and Ja Morant was the one that shot it down. And I don't even know how he's holding any type of power over Memphis's head. It boggles my mind.
Yeah, Ja Morant, I know they did say they're going to revisit trade talks in the summer, so most likely I think that's when it's going to occur and they're going to separate. But I wouldn't be surprised if you see him play less games and maybe even get shut down for the season, depending. I know he had that elbow sprain, but I do believe a change of scenery is due for this guy, and I still do think he's a talented player. I think he's an all-star player. Wherever he goes next, I think he's going to flourish. I think his time in Memphis is over. He does need a change of scenery, so I hope it's in Milwaukee. I do hope we somehow land this guy because I do believe in this guy. I've seen how he could look like potentially a top 15 player in this league, and I do still believe in Ja Morant. We'll just see how that goes in the offseason. But next up, we have a winner, and we are going with the Chicago Bulls, and that is because I've criticized them a crap ton here in this channel because I said either pick one direction, either go full losing or full winning, and they went full losing, and I think this is the perfect draft class to do that. And they got out of a lot of deals, now where they're going to open a lot of cap space this summer in 2026. So that is a big time move right there by the Chicago Bulls. So I'll give them props, even though they didn't get no first-round picks. I think in total, over the past 14 days, they collected 9 second-round picks, which, 9 second-round picks can only get you, not that much. But look,
right.
They got rid of the contracts they needed to get rid of. They need to get rid of Vooch. They need to get rid of Kobe White. I think that time has come. I was surprised they didn't get even potentially a first-round pick for Ayo because, yes, he's still a young player and pretty affordable as well. So that's something to look at. But no matter what, I think this is a W for the Bulls. They're fully committed to losing, and I wouldn't say purely tanking because they do still have caliber players that are like all-star. Like Josh Giddey, in my opinion, is an all-star caliber player, but he's been out of the lineup with a hamstring injury as well. So we'll only see how that goes. But I'll give them a winner because they finally decided that they're going to do the right thing and actually go for a full-blown tank season.
Yeah, this was probably 3 or 4 years too late, to be honest with you. I think they should have did this a few seasons back, and they'd probably be in a lot better position now if they would have started this a little bit earlier. But I guess when you realize your mistakes and you finally come to the right decision, that blowing it up, was the only way. I think their front office finally made the right decision in going with, this route, with the tanking route. If you don't want to say it's a full tank, but a rebuild, I think that's what Chicago had to do. I think they needed to kind of get their ducks in a row, and start just rebuilding from the ground up. So we'll see what happens. Like you said, the 9 second round picks are a little weird because you're not going to really build a team with second round picks. It's just not how it works. It has to be a mix of first and second rounders. So maybe 3 or 4 of those get traded. Maybe they put into a package and they get dealt. I don't see how you need 9 second round picks. That's just me. We'll see what happens. I think the Bulls are finally taking the step in the right direction, though, when it comes to rebuilding this roster.
It's a positive step, so I'll give them a lot of kudos for that. I think they had to pick one or the other, and they did pick the right one, especially with this loaded draft class. So props to the Bulls and that organization, Arturas Karnocic. And I will say this, like, I've criticized the guy a lot. Like you said, he should have done this possibly 2 years ago, especially with LaVine, especially with DeRozan, but he dragged it out. Even with Vucevic, he dragged it out. And no matter which way you look at it, I mean, they weren't going to be a championship level team going into this season. Not even a playoff team. A play-in team, yes, but playoff team, no. So kind of just wasted it a little bit. I think they could have potentially did it in the summer, but look, it is what it is. Hopefully they get a good pick, and that'll be the best for their fan base because, you know, it's night and day from the Bulls' glory days to compared to what they have right now. That's just
that's a fact.
Yeah, and let's go on to the next loser, and that is another Eastern Conference team, the Miami Heat. Fun stat for you guys. The Miami Heat were the only team in the Eastern Conference to not make a move this trade deadline, which is horrible. I don't know what Pat Riley was doing. I don't know what the Heat organization was doing as a whole. I mean, to think that they were in the Giannis sweepstakes and the Ja Morant sweepstakes and possibly what other sweepstakes were they in? Were they even in the Kobe White sweepstakes? I don't even know. But
I don't think so, to be honest with you, no.
I mean, bro, I have no idea why the Heat didn't add. They're in the same kind of purgatory right now that the Bulls are in. Even though the Bulls did the right thing by blowing it up, the Heat should have went the other way to actually dealt some players and, you know, got the team improved, whether it was young talent or even Jaime Jaquez, however you want to look at it. But yeah, I say loser, Miami Heat.
No, listen, I agree with you 100%. That for a team that's 27-25 and in that 7th spot, which is the first play-in spot, you would think you'd want to make a deal to, you know, strengthen the roster so you can make that playoff push and maybe even potentially, you know, sneak up on Toronto. I know Toronto's got that last actual guaranteed playoff spot, and you know that would be the next goal. Is all right. How do we get past Toronto? How do we get up to Toronto's level? And I don't see how they just stayed stagnant. I don't know how that was the call. I don't know how that's the right call. And like you said, Pat Riley just kind of sat on his hands here and just watched this deadline go by when he could have had ample opportunity. Besides, you know, being in the running for Ja Morant, I potentially think that this is something that's going to actually backfire on them, and it's going to hurt them trying to get into the postseason, to be honest with you. And I don't like what Pat Riley did here. We had spoke about this too. We were very surprised that they were the only team in the East to not make a move. And when you're, like I said, when you're a team that's 2 games above 500, playoff spot and that first play-in spot, you'd want to make some improvements. And the Heat just kind of watched this deadline go by.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I was kind of shocked that they didn't even make one move in general. Kind of shows you what Heat culture is right now. And we'll see. I know they said that if Giannis becomes available, if he becomes available in the summer, because, I mean, it looks like the Bucks might be going in another direction. So we'll just wait and see. They'll be back in the talks for Giannis. But it's kind of funny how the Bucks kind of sabotaged everybody else's deadline, just holding the yeah. I mean, look, we'll get into it at the end, but I mean, the Miami Heat are for sure losers. They had the chokehold thinking that they had the best chance to get Giannis, and they didn't end up with nothing. No trades. Right. The only team in the Eastern Conference that didn't make a trade. One of the 3 teams in general that didn't make a trade, along with the Spurs and the Rockets, but they're not included because I feel like they're set, low-key.
That's true.
Next winner we have is the Utah Jazz, and I'm going to give them a slight winner because, look, the 3 first-round picks that they gave up, you could say, wow, that's a little bit risky, but look at those picks in general. I don't think that's going to harm the Utah Jazz. I think for a guy like Jaren Jackson and knowing that kind of in the same position as the Washington Wizards, they kind of been poverty for a little bit. I mean, they got to get back into the mix. They do have to get back into the mix. They haven't had good luck drafting. So making a trade for Triple J, an all-star player, I think that's a W. I mean, they didn't have to give up a lot, in my opinion.
Yeah, and like I said yesterday, the fact that they didn't have to give up a guy like Lauri Markkanen, they can now build around some of this young core that they have and keep a blue chip piece, you know, in their on their roster. I think it's a really good move. I think Utah was very active. They made smart moves. They were able to secure some picks, and kudos to them. I think their front office did a fantastic job. You know, this is a team that obviously was a real force in the West for quite some time, and they haven't been the last few years. They've gotten younger, and they're going that route, which is perfectly fine. But the moves that they made are definitely going to set themselves up in the next couple of years. And I do think that they'll be a playoff team in the next 3 or 4 seasons with this young core that they have, plus with these moves that they made. And like I said, if they could keep a guy like Markkanen, that's huge.
Yeah. Look, I think the Jazz, just like the Wizards, like I said, they could be able to, if they stay healthy with Kessler as well next season, play Ace Bailey at the 2, maybe fight for a play. And I mean, it's tough in the Western Conference.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
We'll see how that goes. But I mean, they made a good trade. I like the trade, so I'm gonna give them a slight W. Going on to a loser team, we're gonna go with the Sacramento Kings because exactly what I thought they were gonna do, they didn't. They actually kept all of their aging stars. Westbrook's not going nowhere. LaVine's going nowhere. DeRozan's going nowhere. And Sabonis, technically, he's not an aging star, but he is up there a little bit. He's still on the team as well. They're all still on the team. And it's kind of crazy because Doug Christie, their coach, said a few days ago that they're going to lean into playing the young players. So guess what that means? If these guys go to the bench, that's a lot of money that's going to be coming off the bench for a regular season, whether it's a month and a half technically left of the regular season. I mean, come on, what are we doing? I think that was very piss poor. Even if it was for like some second round picks and you're just dumping the salary, I felt like it should have been done. And the fact that they didn't do it,
shame on them.
Yeah, that's on them. That's on them.
Sabonis should not be in a Sacramento Kings uniform. I'll tell you that right now. He should be traded. The fact that they probably asked too high is probably what kind of shot them in the foot. And they did it to themselves. I think that the asking price was probably astronomical, and they couldn't get anywhere in negotiations. And I'm sure other teams were making wiggle room to get a deal done because, listen, Sabonis he's a phenomenal defender. He can score. He's a walking double-double. The guy is also a pretty good facilitator when it comes to passing the basketball. And the fact that they probably were asking the world of this guy is probably what ruined him not getting traded.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And we'll see if they revisit talks for Sabonis in the offseason. But I think it was just a bad way to go about the trade deadline for the Sacramento Kings, especially if they do want to embrace playing the young talent. I know they extended one of their players to a 4-year deal earlier, so that was cool. But look, these guys shouldn't be there.
No.
And that's just that. It's just common sense, in my opinion. They're not gelling on the court. There's no reason they should get more minutes. And now, if you do have that money coming off the bench, that's a lot of money, and it's just not going to look bad. And it's not going to look good, should I say, for the front ownership. I'll say this, though. A slight winner that JV had in mind, and he brought this one to my attention, is the Boston Celtics. Obviously, JV, I'll let you get into this one.
Yeah, listen, I had mentioned in our show a couple of days ago that they needed a wing or a big man that could shoot the basketball. They didn't get the wing, and they went out and got Nikola Vucevic, and I think it was a great move. I know it's a guy who's on the back end of his career, but he can still give you 17 and 10 kind of with his eyes closed. I feel like he's a phenomenal shooter still, shooting at 50% from the floor, and he could shoot the three if he needed to. He makes close to one, maybe sometimes 2 threes a night if he gets lucky. So the fact that he can shoot the long ball is another benefit. And like I said, Boston had a need. One was a winger, the other was a big man. They went out and got the big man, and I think them addressing, obviously some of the things that they needed is going to be a nice little to make a nice little push in the Eastern Conference. And I think Vucevic fits that. I think Joe Mazzulla is going to love him. And like I said, he's just another option that he could score down low and take some pressure off of guys like Jaylen Brown, Peyton Pritchard, and we'll see what happens now with Jason Tatum. Can he come back towards the end of the year? We'll see about that. But I do think this was a solid move. They got a piece. That's what they needed. They didn't need a superstar. They needed a piece, and that's what they did with getting Vucevic. So I really applaud this move by Boston.
Yeah, it's a good move. Like you said, Vucevic kind of on the older side. He still holds his own, so he's going to give productive minutes defensively. I'm not that big on him, but he's there for shooting threes and, spacing out the floor. And for that, I do consider that a W for Boston, especially, sometimes with Neemias Queta, the offense wasn't always there. So I do like that move offensively for the Celtics. So a slight W for them. I give it to you. All right, next up, last loser we have here is the Los Angeles Clippers. Well, after, their winning ways, they really flipped it around in the regular season. And now Harden's gone, and now Zubac is gone. And Kawhi was, from what I was hearing, almost gone. He was in trade talks, but they ended up keeping him, which kind of makes no sense to me. But at the same time, you have a lottery protected pick, which is not, it's your pick, but if it falls in the lottery, it goes to the OKC Thunder. And right now it's in the lottery. And now that you guys lost James Harden and Ivica Zubac, yeah, that pick is not going to be yours. You're going to get OKC another top 10, potentially top 8 to top
It's
6 pick.
crazy.
And congratulations, you played yourself, and you played yourself bad. And there's a way that the first round pick that they got from the Pacers, if it falls for the Pacers in the top 4, the Pacers keep that pick. So you guys might play yourselves even more depending where the
More,
draft
yeah.
lottery,
That's what to say, yeah.
playing for you guys. I mean, very, very bad ways to go about it. I mean, you guys got Benedict Mathurin, who, yes, he does have upside. Isaiah Jackson, not a big fan.
No.
Man, Darius Garland, he can't stay healthy. Look, LA Clippers, I understand. Times are not good right now. Obviously, the whole situation with Kawhi, we're gonna get I guess a result of what's going on with that post All-Star break. But man, what a horrible. I mean, they're up there for the biggest loser at this deadline, especially because I thought they were turning stuff around.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy how they've been actually playing pretty well, and now they just made all these moves to kind of gut their team. And I personally think I'll say this until I'm red in the face. I actually don't think James Harden facilitated his way out of the Clippers organization. I actually think they sat him down and said, "Hey, this is where we're looking to go. Are you on board with this? And if you are, to make your life easier, we'll try to get you to where you want to go. So if you pick a couple of teams, we'll try to make it work with those organizations and get you out of here." I know in the past, James Harden has been the cancer for some organization, and he's been a thorn in the sides of some organizations. For example, Philly, Brooklyn, and then obviously, I think LA was going to be a last stop for him. I think it was a hometown team. He was from LA, obviously, and I thought that this would be, his final team that he played for before retirement, but obviously not. And to me, I do think that the Clippers came to him and said, "We have a plan. We have, a route that we're going to take, and if you're on board, we'll try to make your life easier if you can make ours easier." So I think that's where the Clippers went, and it's going to be a long couple of years for Clippers fans. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I mean, is there even like Clippers fans out there? I mean, who would root for the team like the LA Clippers? That's what I would say.
I guess it's because maybe your pops was a Clippers fan and they hated the Lakers. I don't really know how you become a Clippers fan with the Lakers having such a stronghold there, but I guess it's like being a Nets fan in New York.
Yeah, I was actually going to think about that exact comparison right there, and that's tough for that fan base. And look, Kawhi, I don't know how long he's going to be there. If they visit a trade in the summer, whatever this verdict is going to be,
they may. I don't think Kawhi is going to want to stay there. Don't you think he wants to win? I think he wants to go to maybe somewhere he wants to win.
But like I said, we'll see what happens with this whole situation that's about to come out post All-Star break. We'll have very much so our eyes on that. But look, we in general had a very impactful trade deadline. It was a very good trade deadline. There was some good moves. Yes, the obvious move of Giannis being dealt didn't happen. But guess what, guys? I told y'all that. I told y'all it wasn't going to happen because it just didn't make sense. A lot of teams were offering picks up their ass, and it wasn't going to get done. And if really, which is crazy, there was a report that came out that Golden State actually were going to make a very much so prime offer for Jaren Jackson Jr. He went to the Jazz, but they didn't. They pivoted away, and instead they went for Giannis. Backfired on them. He went to the Jazz. And then there was going to be a chance where I think it was Miami was going to go for somebody else. I think it was another top trade. I think it was Ja, but they wanted to save some assets for the Giannis sweepstakes. So they waited on that, and they didn't pivot in time. That was that. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens in the summer. It looks like from when Giannis was posting on IG and Twitter, he's in the report that came out by Chris Haynes, he's happy and he's excited to stay a Milwaukee Buck, and that obviously makes me happy to see. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's that.
And I will say this, and I want to give an honorable mention to the Indiana Pacers. The move they made for Ivica Zubac was, I think, a fantastic one. This guy's another walking bucket and a walking double-double. I believe he averages 14.5 points a game, and I think he's averaging roughly 11 rebounds, and he shoots 62% from the field as well. I know he gets most of his points in the paint and under the basket, but he's very accurate when he's in control of the basketball. And like I said, they could use a guy that plays defense and rebounds, and they got a guy like that in Zubac, and he could also score the basketball too, like I said. So I think that was a phenomenal pick, a pickup for the Pacers, a team that's obviously down in the dumps right now, but I think this is going to be a nice move for them when they get all their players back, especially Halliburton next year.
Yeah, I do agree. It was a good trade deadline. I would say I would rate this trade deadline in general possibly a B plus. Obviously, it didn't get the main name attraction, but regardless from that, I think a lot of teams did get better, and a lot of unexpected teams did get better. And
Absolutely.
they found their purpose, whether it was the Bulls, whether it was even the Wizards. There was some bad losers like the Heat, the Clippers, the Kings, but it was a fun one. It was a fun one. Obviously, we want to hear what you guys think about this trade deadline in the comments section. JV, you have any thoughts to wrap it up more so?
No, and I just want to say, welcome GTA to Madison Square Garden. Jose Alvarado. Yeah, he's a New York native as well, and he'll be playing for the Knicks now. Obviously, Miles McBride out for the season with an injury, and the Knicks went and addressed, their bench, which was, I thought, a great move. And they didn't lose. They didn't lose many pieces. They obviously traded Gershon Yabusele yesterday as well. So that was something that we saw. A low key move. But this was a nice pickup for their bench, and welcome to New York. I like this move for Alvarado. I think it's going to be a nice fit for him.
I agree. I thought that was a solid move. My Bucks didn't really do anything. I think we did the trade, 3-team trade today. We got Ousmane Dieng and I don't know, some other jobber. I don't really care, to be honest. Giannis is still a Buck, chat, and
that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. We're gonna run it back, and we tank, maybe we don't. Cam Thomas did get waived. That was a big one, honestly.
That's true.
I wonder where he's going to end up. That guy's blocking 20 points.
I actually could see it. Maybe if Pat, if Pat Riley maybe wakes up, maybe he's like in a little bit of a. Is he in a little bit of a coma? Maybe someone like just gives him a nudge. I think Cam Thomas would be a nice little piece for Miami.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out. But chat, let us know what you guys think in the comments section. As always, make sure to subscribe here to JBM Sports Media. You guys did absolutely phenomenal in that live stream today. Thank you guys so much. We're going to have the Super Bowl content after this video. We're going to be done for NBA for a little bit, ramp it up with NFL back to back to back to back. It's going to be super fun, so stay tuned for that. Should have Mike back. I know, unfortunately, you guys are probably wondering where Mike's been. No good, guys. No good, unfortunately.
No, he's been down bad.
Down bad.
Down bad.
As always, we do want to say we appreciate all the support that you guys show here. Thank you guys for the support today on that first ever JBM basketball live stream here on YouTube. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to the guys. Really do appreciate that. And make sure you guys follow us on TikTok and IG at JBM Sports Media. We've been doing pretty good numbers there as well. So stay tuned with us on that. Until the next one, we'll catch you guys later. Peace.